Hey y'all, it's Paris and I'm back with another video. So today I just wanted to share with you guys that you are crossing over. You are crossing over, okay? And so before I get into this word, let me just say that this word is not for everybody, okay? It is not for everybody. So please go back to the Lord. This word should be a confirmation of what God has already been talking to you about, okay? And so for whoever this word is for, you are crossing over. But before you cross over to the next level, God wants you to make a move of faith, okay? And so I'm going to get into what I mean. So I was studying Joshua chapter 3. And in Joshua chapter 3, you'll see that the Israelites are about to cross over the Jordan River, okay? And so with that being said, before they could cross the Jordan River, the Lord had given the Israelites instructions, okay? He had given them instructions, and so their feet had to touch the Jordan River before God could do a miracle, before they could cross over the Jordan River, okay? Because keep in mind, the Jordan River was actually an obstacle, okay? Because they couldn't cross over the river without, going through the river. Keep in mind, the Jordan River was deep, okay? So they couldn't swim in this water. They couldn't swim in this water to get across. God had to do a miracle in order for them to cross over, okay? And so God had given the Israelites instructions. And so the instructions were, they had to walk to the Jordan River and their feet had to touch the water. And once their feet touched the water, that's when God did a miracle, okay? So when the Israelites, or when the priest walked to the river and their feet touched the Jordan River, God drew the river up, okay, and basically made a dry ground for them to cross over the Jordan River, okay? So the thing was, the Israelites, or the priests, they had to be obedient. They had to make a move of faith, okay? Because yes, God could have drew up the Jordan River before they crossed it, but no, he wanted to see, were they going to be obedient first? Were they going to put their feet in the water? Were they going to put their feet in the water before they could cross over? Okay. And so for some of you guys, before you can cross over, your feet have to touch the water. And what I mean by that is you have to make a move of faith. If God is telling you to do something, maybe he wants you to go ahead and book that flight. Maybe he wants you to go ahead and book that Airbnb. Maybe he wants you to go ahead and do the application. Maybe he wants you to go ahead and apply to school. Okay. Maybe he wants you to do something that requires faith. He wants you to do something that requires faith. And so the thing is, again, the Jordan River was actually a blessing, but it was an obstacle first, because God had to see, were they going to step out on faith? Were they going to walk on water? Okay, because their feet had to touch the water before God withdrew the Jordan River for them to cross over. And so what I'm saying to you guys is, God wants to see, will you do your part first? Are you going to do your part first? Okay. And so with that being said, you already know what to do. For some of you guys, God has already given you the provision, but you're worried about, okay, if I go ahead and book the flight, if I go ahead and, pay for the application, if I go ahead and do this, I don't know if God is going to provide after that. And so it's keeping you from being obedient. It's keeping you from crossing over to the next level. And so the thing is, God is saying, will you do your part first? Will you do your part first? Because once you do your part, then God is going to do the rest. But he's waiting on you to let your feet touch the water. He's waiting on you to step out on faith. He's waiting on you to move in faith. Okay. And so again, you are crossing over, but you cannot cross over until you do your part. Until you do your part. Okay. Because again, a lot of people are worrying about how can they cross over to this next level, to this next season, when they can't see God's provision, they can't see God's hand. And that's the whole point of moving in faith. Again, God has already provided to some of you guys already. You already have the provision. Your thing is you want to make sure that there's going to be provision after you do the move. And so the thing is, God is not going to show his hand until you make the first move. Okay. And so with that being said, again, this word should be confirmation. I'm not telling anybody to do anything that God has not told you to do. This should be confirmation of what God has already been speaking to you about. Okay. So don't be talking in the comments talking about, oh, I'm going to move in faith and God never told you to move. I'm not talking about that. But what I am saying is, if God has given you instructions to apply to that job, to apply for that particular position, to, book that Airbnb, to book that flight, to go ahead and, move in faith, God is waiting on you. He's waiting on you so that he can remove that obstacle, okay? Because again, the Jordan River was a blessing, because it was going to get them to the other side, their promised land. However, it was also an obstacle as well, because again, the Jordan River was so deep. It wasn't a type of river that it was like so low to where, they could swim over. But no, like this was an overflowing river. This river was overflowing. Okay. And so with that being said, God had to do a miracle in order for them to cross over. And so what I'm saying to you is, God is going to do a miracle for you. However, you have to take the first step. You have to put your feet on the water. Your feet need to touch the water. Your feet need to touch the water. Okay. And so again, if you want to find this story, go to Joshua chapter 3 and study it for yourself. But for whoever this word is for, you are crossing over. If this word is for you, type in the comment, I'm crossing over. Okay. And so if you guys would like to book a coaching session with me or become a life coach, please go to my website at parismace.com, and I will see you guys in my next video. Bye, y'all.